Hello.
Hello.
We're back with another episode of two idiots rambling on about
Yeah,
useless things and the news.
sometimes the news. We
Yes.
attempt to talk about the news.
Yeah. Well, we do have some personal news.
Oh,
Well, that counts for the both of us, actually.
I guess so, yeah. I
Because we.
beat your ass with a pool noodle.
Yes. While wearing shorts, let's say I'm an adult.
Yeah, we're adults now. Shout out to Jazza for making these glorious shirts.
Yeah. The problem with it as well. Let me actually turn the sound down a bunch so people don't get deafened by the sound of the game.
Do we have music, by the way? Did you put
Yeah,
it?
music's on.
Okay.
I can even check it on my phone. But yeah, we drove halfway across the country to get those shirts.
Yes. Yes, we did.
Yes, and the travels weren't bad. It's just that my car is sometimes a bit loud doing 100. That's just what you get when you buy an older French car. They come with the the thing of being French, and the French like to do things in a unique way. You know, the way that basically means nobody else did it because it is not the best way to do it. But apart from that, pretty fun weekend. Managed to fuck up some brownies, which turned out reasonably quite delicious still. Like, we came to the conclusion after like making the brownie, putting it into the desired shape, that the shape we put it in was too large for the oven. So, in our infinite wisdom, we decided to put it in diagonally. However, as you can imagine, if you're baking something, it has to have the same thickness all around. Or else it will not bake equally and things will get fucked. So, guess what happens if you put it in diagonally? You get different thicknesses. What happens with different thicknesses? Half burnt, half raw.
Yes. It was incredible.
Yes. Although, still, the part that was good
Yes.
was actually quite good.
Yes. I'm gonna see if I can maybe make that gigantic burger
Eh,
for the family gathering this weekend. I think, is that on Saturday or on Sunday? I hope it's on Sunday, because that would give me Saturday to make the burger.
for reference,
Okay, it's on Sunday.
a while ago I was in London and saw a cookbook that was
Yeah.
made for the Persona franchise, the video game
Yes.
franchise,
Yes.
and in and I sent an image to Jim, and then we left the bookstore, and then I got a text back begging for me to get it. So we eventually went
Yeah,
to a different
duh.
bookstore to buy it, or I went to a different one
Wait, why?
because the one when we actually sent it, then by the time I read your message, we're already out of that bookstore.
Okay.
So it was a
Could've
bit of
gone
a
back.
yeah, but we were going around London anyway and Brighton. So yeah. Then later on, when in the Netherlands I was in a bookstore, because turns out bookstores are quite fun. I got a Five Nights at Freddy's cookbook, where we got the brownie recipe from. The problem is, it asked for bars. Like just chocolate caramel, nougat bars, it wasn't an exact measurement. And if we're just cooking, right? If it was just the cooking, I wouldn't mind. However, because cooking is often like it's a recommendation. It depends entirely on your taste, right? But baking is a precise thing.
Yes. Well, it depends on what you're baking, to be honest.
Yeah. But
Like,
more often than
baking
not,
pancakes is not a very precise thing.
yeah, but often baking is quite precise. If you're making brownies or cakes or anything, if you mess up one measurement, you're gonna have to adapt the other ones for it. Meanwhile, if you just do some cooking,
Yeah.
oh no, I messed up one measurement. It's just gonna affect the flavor.
Yeah.
So that's why baking is often way more precise. So instead of like the cookbook it gives multiple units at the same time. Like it gives you grams, ounces. So you don't have to calculate. It also didn't help that we didn't have a scale. The easiest way to measure things is something that wasn't available to us because for some reason there wasn't one. Should probably turn the sound down a little bit.
Should we get to the news?
If you have news you want to talk about, then sure.
Not really, actually. Like, other than that dude on the fat bike on the highway that went like 125 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Which, that is illegal on multiple levels.
Wait, didn't he go? Wasn't he drunk and on the wrong way?
I don't know if he was drunk. Oh, hello.
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 I hope you have news, because I think we both don't, actually.
Well, I do have one thing I want to talk about, and that's something that happened today. I almost hit somebody walking across the street because
I was about to say, is this traffic related?
yes, but this is an actual.
Dude,
proper...
we ought to make a segment out of this.
Why are you so loud?
It's happening too much.
No, but like this is an actual thing. I almost ran someone over because of the fact that I was driving. A person went from the other side of the road, like started crossing from the other side of the road, so they first had to go across the opposite lane. There was a car there, it's dark, lights are on, and I actually couldn't see the pedestrian because of the headlights. Because if you're getting flashbanged by two suns, basically, then you're not going to see a person in dark clothing walking across a street. So if you're doing the allowed speed limit on that street, which is a semi-fast 50 kilometers per hour, and all of a sudden you have to slam on your brakes because there's one person, then I would get slightly annoyed. So bright headlights are an actual danger to not only other drivers, but to pedestrians, cyclists, it's a danger to everyone. So yeah. They should mandate the amount of light that's allowed per car. Like, they should put an actual limit on the amount of light that's allowed to go out. I mean, of course, there are laws that about the actual positioning of the lighting, like where you can shine it. You will be pulled over if your lights are pointing right in people's eyes. Makes perfect sense, right? You will get pulled over for that, as that is a big safety violation. But the brightness it's like a full-on war on who can make the brightest headlights.
Yes. And it's really annoying.
Yes, because you get flashbanged by one. If there's a line of cars coming the other way, you basically get like hit with 20 flashbangs right after each other, and you then still have to be able to see the rest of, the road and all traffic around it. It's just an accident waiting to happen when you hear, yeah, I couldn't see shit because I got blinded by headlights. I can't wait for those lawsuits to happen. Where, I kind of hope the car manufacturers can be sued for that. Like, oh, your headlights are too bright. Well, that's your that's the manufacturer's problem. So they have to fix it. And I get it, bright headlights are safer.
Well, to a certain point.
Well, you can see more. I would argue. However, you also have to take other traffic into account.
You can see more until everyone else does the same.
Yes.
So then it's beneficiary for a little bit. No, I don't have much news. So I immediately went to funny news.
Well, I can take a look at the actual news.
I already talked about the news that we beat Bush with pool noodles while wearing an adult shirts.
Yeah.
That's not just news, that's like every Tuesday.
No, it's every time we're at your place.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not every time. We only had the shirts since last time. Anyway.
Yeah, it was just the shirts. It totally was.
Although this was the first time we took it this serious, I guess.
Well, it's because you started sword fighting as a hobby, I guess.
Well, yeah, sure.
Right. Not much funny news going on, except this guy who ran a marathon while wearing 137 t-shirts.
Did one of them
at least say I'm an adult one, though?
I was about to say.
I doubt it.
Okay, I do have some political
48
news,
pounds of shirts. Wait. Calculator. What, 48 pounds? 48 times 0.45? So basically 21 kilos of t-shirts. That's quite a lot.
Oh, that's my barrel.
I have some political news, actually.
Oh.
Apparently.
I was too early with the funny news then.
Yes. Yes, that's we saved that for the end.
Yeah, well, I figured that there is no news. This must be the end then.
Well, I found news.
What's up with the red square on screen?
The red square?
Oh,
yeah,
that's because he has selected something.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Like you can't see that on the actual stream.
No.
At least you hope so.
No, we know.
We have been streaming, like at least I've been streaming for years now. You'd think I know.
How old is my YouTube channel by this point, and I've been streaming since before that. Anyway, But so D66 and CDA, the two Dutch political parties that are currently like attempting to form the government, right?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying.
Emphasis on
Okay,
they're
so
trying.
they have talked for a bit.
Wow, they can do that?
Uh, they're keeping the law that's like to spread out
Refugees.
the refugees over the country. Uh, the I don't know what to call this in English, but hypotheekrenteaftrek.
Is it gonna
Basically
go?
it's if you have a mortgage. Uh,
I don't know, what would you call that?
it's like if
What would
people
aftrek be in English? Is the only thing I'm mostly worried about.
That is entirely dependent on your definition. Like, how do you want to
People with-
define it?
But basically, what it means, people with a mortgage can get some money from the government to. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. I'm not thinking about the correct one right now. How do I explain this one properly?
I don't know.
Whatever. They're
In order
gonna.
to explain it, I first need to understand it, so I think you have a better shot here.
I kind of understand it, but I don't know how to put it into words.
Yeah.
So you don't understand it.
Well, you can understand
It's
something.
basically, well, I don't know how to explain the law itself, but I can explain what it caused. Basically, people that don't really need it now just get money from the government to pay their mortgage. Which sounds good, but again, it's people that don't really need the money.
It's basically a law to make rich people richer.
And because of it, it's actually part of the reason why houses are currently so expensive.
Yes, because as soon as you have money, you can basically buy out people.
Because I think it's specifically for buying a second house.
No. Well, maybe.
I think it is.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Even if it wasn't, it wouldn't be. It would still be a bit weird.
So they're gonna slowly get rid of that over time, which is good.
In theory, anyway.
And stricter. I also don't know how to say this in English. Fucking.
Asylum.
Immigration laws.
Immigration, yeah.
Like asylum seekers, you know, the people that are actually looking for.
Is it called asylum? Because all I can think of then is like an asylum.
Yeah, I know you're thinking about Batman, basically.
Wait, no, not Bat. Well, I guess they have an asylum. That's not a very realistic one, but.
Wait, it isn't?
Asylums don't exist anymore.
Yeah, insane asylums, you mean?
Also regular asylums.
Yeah, but I think it might be called that. I am not sure. You know, this is what happens when you have people that usually don't speak a language.
We're not experts. We're not experts. Anyway.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, for refugees, like stricter rules for that.
Yeah. Which
So
I think
that's not a bad thing.
It might have been a law actually that, or the rule that if people came to the Netherlands and were allowed in, that they would just basically priority on a house.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if people actually, you know, could easily buy a house otherwise, it wouldn't be such a big problem. But because we have a massive housing shortage and housing prices are through the bloody roof,
Yes.
that makes it a lot more difficult for, you know, us to buy a house. So a lot of people get annoyed at that fact. Because, you know, you kind of get the argument of, why can they get a house easily, but I can't? That makes a lot of people angry.
Might have actually I might have some news on that as well, but that will be for after. Um. Anyway, so they
Yeah.
yeah, D66 and yeah, they they want to introduce a temporary uh like would you call it a license for people that are allowed to stay, right?
Yeah.
For 3 years. So that's part of their thing. And all of this is in a report that they wrote together that other parties are now supposed to go through and see who basically wants to join them in,
Yeah.
in dictating the
Parliament.
country. Well, I guess it's not dictating because
Defining
Yes,
the
we are we
laws.
are we are dictatorship now. Awesome.
you realize dictatorship actually just means kingdom, right?
Uh, no, should I?
Which means technically we do live in a dictatorship.
Mm, a kingdom is a monarchy, though. That's
We have a
slightly
monarchy.
different.
We have a king, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a king. He's basically a puppet.
He's our public teddy bear, but he is here.
Yeah, but that's not a dictatorship per se.
No, because he has no power. I know,
Yeah.
but literally, it does like dictator
But
is actually like Greek for king. So
well, good thing we don't speak Greek, I guess.
anyway,
Just don't give Willem P any
uh,
ideas. That's all I'll say.
they want to build 21 new housing locations over the whole country.
21 wasn't it like 10 in the beginning?
So they want to make 10 cities. But then there's also like a few more like just neighborhoods basically.
Yeah.
Which does seem more realistic than building 10 cities in 4 years.
That
Well,
I don't know
I
makes
the
think it's
time limit.
perfectly achievable if we were allowed to actually bloody build.
Well, that's
Yeah,
a whole other thing.
if we didn't like they put environmental laws around it.
Yeah, but those are actually kind of dumb.
Yeah, and
Kinda.
it's entirely it's basically stopping all construction,
We
which
have the amazing situation where if you want to make a building like m- more efficient, like more, better for nature, you cannot do that because building it would cross the like the the limit in CO2 emissions you're allowed to have,
yeah, so you're not allowed to make
which is
things more
really dumb
environmentally
because
friendly.
in the long term what you're building is going to be better.
Yeah, which I mean, on one hand I can get it because you don't want more environmental impact, but on the other hand, you're trading slight bit extra for, you know,
Well, the current situation is kind of just making it worse. So,
yeah. So we don't want that anyway.
yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of this situation where it just means that we're not having any new housing, or that's a bomb, which is causing even more of a shortage. Although it near my job, near my place of employment, they're actually building
You
a
don't have
house.
to speak in code language for the word job, Joel.
at my place of employment, they're actually building housing. They've actually built a couple. People already moving in. That went surprisingly fast, actually, for what they did. And that is nice to see. It's just that I'd much rather have, you know, way more housing. It doesn't even have to be like a full on house, it can be an apartment.
Nah, I rather there be more houses than
Yes, but
apartments.
with the shortage that we have, if you want to solve it quicker, building apartments is a lot easier. Because you can go way denser at that point. Because
Yeah, but who wants to live in apartments?
like it might not be the ideal thing. I can understand. But it's it's not all bad. I mean, I currently live in an apartment. Yes, you don't really have
Oh.
yes, you don't really have a garden, but if you like we have a balcony across the full width. So that's already a good thing to have, which you can use as a garden. Parking is often available, although for the last few weeks the parking lot has become fuller and fuller, which I find surprising. Because where has all that traffic been over the last couple of months? Nowhere, and all of a sudden it's there. But apart from that,
Interesting.
an apartment, like, you don't really need the entire. If you're living with 2 or maybe 3 people, you don't need a full house. All you need is 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and, a living room. Especially if you're still young, you're going to be working most of the time, so why would you need an entirely spacious house? Then again,
How
Wait,
else is Jim gonna swing his sword around?
in the privacy of his own room, hopefully.
you realize
You realize,
there's a ceiling in a room.
yeah,
If your sword reaches the ceiling, I'm gonna be surprised.
You realize the sword is over a meter in length.
I have a feeling we're talking about different swords here.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not
Anyway,
sure if you are talking about swords at this point.
It can be used as
Anyway,
a sword because
uh,
it's a thrusting weapon.
Sword
neither of
is
mine are.
well,
They
a sword
can
is not
be.
defined by being a thrusting weapon.
It can be.
Some are. Both of mine are slashing oriented though.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be defined as one.
Like they can thrust if you really need them to, but anyway. Another very interesting thing. They want to, in 5 years, have at least 122,000 soldiers in the military. Which, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And if not enough people do that, like, not enough people enlist themselves,
Yeah.
they are considering bringing back, what's it called?
Oh, they're gonna
Wait.
make it mandatory again that
Gamesplicht.
you have to go into the
Yes,
army.
but they say selective.
Yeah. Of course it's gonna be selective.
Which makes me curious what that means.
Of course it's gonna be selective. They're not just gonna put everyone in the middle. They're not just gonna give everyone a gun and say fight.
No, I know that, but this makes it sound more like
They're gonna try and look for people that are already quite fit, that basically don't require a lot of extra effort to.
okay, good. That means I don't have to worry about it.
Well, that's my
Well,
theory.
no, you.
That's my
At the point
theory.
they'll
They might.
implement it, you're probably above the age anyway.
I don't. Would that matter?
Yeah. Well, usually they have a maximum age of which they recruit
You
people
realize
for.
I'm only 20 years old, right?
Yeah, you'll probably be in there now, but I don't know how quickly they're gonna implement this.
Well, apparently within the next 5 years, unless enough people
Well,
go
at
into
that
the military.
point, you'll be 25. So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
isn't it
why?
that strict? That's weird.
Well,
It's the military, of course it's
But I
strict.
mean, I already don't see the point in having it, because then if you have like a full-on obligation to go into the army, right?
yeah.
For everybody, then you have an army with a shitload of people that don't care for it, that don't want to be there, and it's just not gonna work.
Yeah. Well, that depends. You will have people that are like, well, I'm in it now. I might as well, make the best of it.
Am I allowed to sword duel people in the army?
Uh, is there a sword regiment in the army?
Probably not,
Probably
unfortunately.
not.
Can
Are
we
you
go back to swords?
are you familiar with the bayonet?
Um,
Well, yeah, sure, but
yeah, but I don't think they use those anymore, Jules.
no.
No, they don't
And
use
they
Well,
bayonets
I
haven't.
think
anymore.
no, I think they do, but that's not the same as a sword.
Well, you can spear fight with it, sorta. You have a short spear.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, considering bayonets can be useful.
Actually, I say that. I just realized a colleague at my job actually like collects bayonets. Some of them are huge. Like some of them are actual swords.
Okay. Is that legal to own bayonet? Yeah, I guess so.
Yes. Yes, they are. Why would it not be? Why would I be allowed to own a sword, but he can't have a bayonet? Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Like a bayonet.
Well, because bayonet is a gun part, probably, technically.
Oh, it's a gun attachment, but it's not a gun.
It's just
Oh, yeah, okay. So in the Netherlands, those rules do kind of make sense. Yeah.
it's a bayonet for those who are unfamiliar with
I,
the term because they're
I don't
not.
know if you guys ever learned anything about American gun laws.
What law?
Other than that they're bullshit. No.
Yeah, they're very weird.
I
Other
mean,
Not
than
very
they
consistent.
differ per state as well. I know that.
other than
Yeah, but not in. Okay, so
Walmart.
you know the IRS and stuff,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
regulatory body of guns and what is
Yeah.
IRS?
The one that does your taxes, basically.
No, no, they
Because
also like do the regulations for
the gun.
like drugs and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be the IRS. The what
TSA,
institute is that again?
potentially.
Um, no, something with an F, but I
FBI.
can't. No, not that.
FDA.
Okay, well, so they don't really have logical rules like this is a pistol. No, 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 no. You can have a rifle looking thing, but it has a shorter barrel, so now it's a pistol, which means it cannot have a stock. Stuff like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Nice.
Well, there's also a thing with vertical
You know,
and horizontal grips. Like if you have a horizontal grip, it's legal, but as soon as you flip it 90 degrees
Yeah,
for a
you,
vertical
you
grip,
get stuff like that.
they have a
So,
felony.
so what I said about stocks, you're not allowed to have a stock on a pistol. But you can have a pistol brace, which looks like a stock, but you cannot shoulder it because then it would be a stock.
Yeah, the laws are just weird.
Try explaining that one.
American gun laws are a tad bit weird.
That's very much a bit weird.
And also
Well, you know
available
what?
at Walmart.
At least they're existent. We don't have them here.
I'm still surprised that gun laws are actually like guns are actually available to buy at Walmart. Like, welcome to big grocery store.
Well,
Have your
off the
gun.
background check, that is. It's not like you can just go buy one.
Yeah, 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 but you know, the fact that they're available there. Like, do you want to know how many memes there are about the U.S. and what happens in a school there?
You know, glad to hear that when I came up with bullshit laws for a fictional world, glad to hear they're not even as bullshit as some real world laws.
Oh, you wanna also something funny? Twitter has recently put locations on accounts, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And what I think it was the Department of Homeland Security that sort of got exposed as being located in Israel.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing
that
though, people are like mad about it, but I'm just like it doesn't dox you at all. It just tells you the country and that's it.
yeah, it tells you the
Like,
country, but that still sort of docks you to the point where
well, yeah,
if
but
the Department of Homeland Security, which is entirely US, is apparently based in Israel, which is already highly controversial, considering their stance with, Palestine and all that stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
that doesn't really put the
well,
situation in a good light, does it?
yeah. But I do also see the argument of like if you get texted by like a supposed blonde woman, looking for love, and then you check and they're from like
India.
India.
Yeah, what also it also you know what it also means? That any, you know, actual argument that somebody can have can be invalidated by your location. Like, take the India thing for example. Imagine trying to make an argument and then somebody just says, "You're from India," and just starts going on about that instead of actually finding valid arguments.
Uh, what kind of arguments are you in?
People often make fun of people from India because, yeah, you know
Well,
the kind of
yeah.
shit show it is there. They don't
Well,
know any
at least they
safety.
overthrew their own government. That's quite something.
They don't know shit about safety, especially regarding trains and heavy machinery, which is quite dangerous and often leads to fatalities. They scam, which is a
Well,
stereotype.
yeah, and it's also not appreciated within India. They they
Yeah, but
don't like that
the
being a
entire
thing.
country basically gets that stereotype. Even I, at one point, got a phone call from somebody with a very thick Indian accent saying, like, basically being me, somebody that can understand decent English, even if it's with a thick accent. The only word I could hear was Microsoft.
I
Like,
mean, they do like posing as Microsoft scammers.
Microsoft or PayPal or Apple, they pose as a
Yeah,
prop, like, actual big company,
but
and then say
no
money.
nobody falls for that anymore.
I'd
Right,
be
Jim?
surprised, especially. Oh yeah, yeah, Jim.
Right, Jim?
No, it was more of a
School
PC
saved
thing.
me.
Hmm?
School saved me.
That was more of a PC thing,
Mini
actually.
Adolf, yeah.
No, just school, because I had to leave.
Yeah, otherwise they would have had they would have all your details.
Yes. Should I can talk about this. So basically, right, one day, like a couple of years ago now, I got a phone call, and of course I was skeptical because oh, it's Microsoft, whatever. But they tell the way they got me, and I assume they get quite a lot of people like this. They tell you to like check your computer and go to like I don't even know where this was in your settings, but somewhere like it's not even not in your settings, somewhere in your system. You can check for like error messages, but the thing is, your computer doesn't tell you every error message it gives you because it has a lot of them. It has a lot of error messages that it just doesn't do anything with because they don't actually matter. But if you don't know that, you see that and you're like, oh, there is something wrong. And
Yeah.
that's how they get you.
Yeah, but the other thing
At least that's how
is,
they got Jim.
I,
it's
you know that I am somewhat capable with computers, like more so than I think most people. At least most people older than us.
Why? Okay, but that's not much of an achievement now.
No,
yeah.
but just think how many people it would get.
Also younger than
Sure.
us,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
also
think
younger
about
than
it.
us, definitely. Yeah.
Because more often than not, younger, like the new generation, is incredibly dumb when it comes to
And
technology. Like, it is somewhat
Well,
scary.
I don't know if.
Like, yes, they
Well,
grew up with
the thing is, they
technology.
grow up with it, so I think
Yes,
they're
but they don't
gonna
grow up knowing how to
outpace it.
work it. We grew up in an era where, your phone battery could still be replaced. So it was still developing. So we still got to see the technology, see it evolve. We were and how to fix some problems because earlier programs sometimes require some tinkering to get it working properly. Modern stuff is often so blocked off and so
Yeah,
built
no, I don't like that. Yeah.
built like even with modern cars, if you want to even fix, like with the most modern Hyundais, I think, if you want to even replace the brake pads, you need a multiple $1,000 device, which requires a $60 subscription to run, just
Okay.
to
What? What? Why?
replace
What?
your
Why do we
brake
need subscriptions
pads.
for a car now?
Now, for
That's
the software, for the device that you had to buy, so you can actually tell the car that the brake pads are replaced properly. Why? A car doesn't need that. What a car needs is, easy to work on, cheap to run, cheap to fix. And these days, with all technology, that just doesn't happen anymore. People just, oh, it's broken, just throw it away. Because that is cheaper than fixing it. Just because it's built in such a way that is often the cheapest, which is just glue it together. And it frustrates me to no end, which is why I almost don't really want to buy like new stuff. Especially with stuff like with phones, I went and specifically looked for a phone that could be fixed. Which, yes, you might get a phone that's a little bit more expensive, but at least I can fix my phone, and I know it's going to be good till like at least 2031. Because at that point, the actual software won't get any more security updates. Which basically means you have to, if you want to stay safe, you have to upgrade to a newer model. Because instead of continuously improving older models, they just bring out a new model every year. You know, iPhone, for example. Which brings
Yeah,
me
but
to
iPhone is the extreme case here, to be
iPhone
fair.
is more of a fashion statement than an actual phone, to be fair.
There's people that swear by its system, like over
Yeah. I mean,
software, and
they do some stuff right, just not most of it.
They do some stuff right.
Well, the main thing, they do a lot of stuff right, but
well,
they just don't sell it for a fair price. Is
okay,
the
so
main thing.
I've never had an iPhone. My mother has had an iPhone, but like that was for her job,
Yeah.
and it was a nightmare. She couldn't find anything, and then she was like, "Can you help me with this?" And then I couldn't find it either.
Yeah, because
No,
the
because
software is
it's a
so different than other software.
yeah, that it tries to
Yeah,
be
quite
different,
honestly,
which makes it
I don't
harder.
even remember what it was because you would think that it can't be that hard. Like, why would it be hard? Why would it be complicated?
Because that would mean you would focus more on the actual, getting to tech support and everything.
Yeah, and then just be like, well, once you get used to it, it's better. Well, once I get used to it, I can say that about anything. You know, like Bloodborne is an easy game if you get used to it. Like,
Yeah,
like it does that's not count.
especially the getting used to it part is just
Yeah.
like it just sucks. Like I don't want like I'm a simple man. I don't want to have to go through 10 billion steps just to do one little thing
Mm-hmm.
in a piece of software. I want to be able to, fix stuff easily.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the battery thing was a really wasn't the best thing to do for your phone, but it was a decent thing to do. Like phones back in the day, think about like 10 years ago, used to freeze more often than current phones. And every time it froze, the quickest solution would actually be just remove the battery. Just open the back, take the battery out, put the battery back in. That would be the quickest and easiest way to solve the problem. However,
Mm-hmm.
since we can't really touch the battery at all these days, everything becomes a pain.
You know, I wanted to ask why you're rambling about this so much, but then I realized
Where this the
it's
Bushblade
literally in the
Ramblings.
it's literally in the title. I can't complain.
Bushblade Ramblings, I get to ramble about stuff. Because, that's what we do
Well,
here.
Jim,
Yes.
now it's your turn to ramble then.
What do I ramble about?
I don't know.
Oh, I could
Well,
ramble
you
about a
say it's
lot
my
more
turn.
stuff.
I think my turn is coming up. Well, I don't know about soon, but at some point when I make that presentation,
Oh right. Yeah, no,
I
and then the
that's just gonna
second
be an
presentation.
entire episode of you rambling.
Yeah, and then that second presentation.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, kittens are dying of bird flu.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably because they eat the birds.
well, and because they're like young kittens, their immune system probably isn't the best yet, just like with children.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it depends on how old you. Because if they're young, then they don't eat birds because they're not hunting.
yeah, but their immune system isn't really built for that stuff. And if you then throw a disease at it, then it's gonna die. And we don't want that to happen because, you know, we love our pets.
Mostly.
Yeah, they're often a bit dumb, but yeah, we still love our pets nonetheless. Because they're cute. And also, for our Dutch viewers, which is slightly concerning, they are really starting to cut funding for television.
Yes.
What?
Well, for the NPO.
Yeah. Like, you have a couple
Are
of,
they?
like, government-funded channels. There are, like, 3 of them.
One, 2, and 3.
Yeah. And they're basically getting their funding cut, and then they have to scrap programs and put more ads
thing
in
is-
to cover the costs.
The thing is, they're government funded, but the government doesn't like them because they often bring out the news that's negative against the government.
Yeah. Or you have
Which is
programs that
a
are
good
just
thing.
satire, which often actually just straight up make fun of the government.
If you, as somebody in the government, take that personally, you are an idiot. You should play into it.
Yes.
I mean, it is
Depending on
literally
what
free
it is.
attention.
Depending on what it is, like not always, but there are situations where I've been like, if someone that they just talked about made a statement on this, like sort of as like a follow up or something, you know how much following they could get from that?
Like, oh yeah, there's been a rumor about me regarding this and this.
Yeah.
If you just say stuff like that, then you would get a lot of media attention.
Yeah. Probably better than that stupid TikTok dance shit that
Yes.
yeah.
Who is doing that in the government right now?
Um, he's gone
Trust
now.
everyone. Trust everyone's and Jesse Klaver.
Yeah.
Ah.
There
Well,
was like a trend on TikTok where they would like dance and pretend to sing like a
Yeah, it was
middle
a
of-
weird.
it's not like one of them is like the new president or something.
Yeah, the new leader of the
No, they
party,
aren't.
but
Oh wait, yeah, they are.
it's basically the old leader and the new leader of the party because it's technically
they're not
two
the
parties
president.
merged together. So
Well, Claver maybe at some
It-
point.
No, you're
No.
thinking of the wrong party right now.
Oh, am I?
although the two
Yes.
combined
is
parties
the,
maybe.
yeah.
not D66. Klaver is GroenLinks PvdA.
Yeah, the thing is, it's basically two parties merged together,
Yeah.
which makes a lot of sense that the leader of the old party, like the leader of one party got fired, basically, and then the leader of the other party took over. To me, that just makes perfect sense.
Does it? It doesn't sound like it makes much sense, to be honest.
To me, it does. I mean, you basically have two parties merged together. One leader leaves, but you basically still have the one from
Well-
the other party that has
Okay.
proven himself to be able to lead. So you just put him in there.
Okay. So for the people who think this is confusing that we have two parties merged into one, we have two parties under the exact same name because they split apart and now they're fighting who gets to keep the name.
And that's the part we understand.
Yeah.
Never mind the part we don't.
Yeah. So there's two Partij voor de Dieren, so two animal parties. And there's also a third one, which is the exact same party, called Vrede voor Dieren. So peace for the animals, which is the exact same party, just with one different point.
Yeah. Also, some
So you made it in a camera wind.
some weird school news actually. Apparently, schools are often underestimating girls over boys. They're basically sending girls to a lot, like a lot more to the so-called lower levels, which I would much prefer to call them the more practical levels, considering that's just
I
what
don't
they
know if
are.
that's true at all.
Well, considering I've seen an article about this.
Yeah, okay, but that doesn't really say much per se. To be
But
fair.
I mean, like it's often said that those are the lower levels, like Febeo instead of Fabio. You know, there's a pretty big difference in there. Like there are a couple of levels. There's like a level in between. But I see it as just instead of going for, you know, books, to go for actual physical stuff. Because that's what it is. It's either the theoretical or the practical bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of which one can you work with.
Yeah.
Wait, but are you not saying that there are more girls going to practical or boys? Kind of
Well,
misheard.
girls are often or more likely to get a lower.
I don't see that though, per se.
Well, it might just be localized in the area. So have to actually look at the article. But I'm in the middle of playing a game to enter entertain in the background. So I'm gonna have to do some multitasking as a man.
Yeah, no, no.
Duo
Yeah,
actually.
that definitely ain't happening. How is it?
Can we get classes in multitasking at school? That would have been nice.
Getting classes and actually finding a job would have also been nice.
I got a job, no problem.
Yes, but like
You already had a job.
exactly. But instead, actually, like this is the process. This is how it goes. This is what you
I
do.
I feel like that isn't too much
That
trouble.
that's the whole point of the course.
Yeah, it teaches you the actual skills, but what school doesn't teach you is,
The getting a job bit, he means.
yes, like it teaches you the job,
You just
but it
you
doesn't
just
teach you
ask.
how to actually, apply for it and get the job.
How would you teach that? You just ask.
But they kind of do though. They ask you, they teach you how to present and stuff.
They teach you how to present, but
They
there's an
didn't teach us how to
entirely
present because there are
different
actual.
scenario. Like giving a
I've
presentation
been
is different.
I've been to a when I spent that one day with a different class. They actually had actual classes into presenting stuff, like into giving presentations. We did not.
Yeah.
No,
I'm kind of surprised we didn't, because that feels like something that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, giving
for engineering,
presentations.
yeah, definitely.
Like considering engineering students are often towards a more introverted and potentially socially awkward side.
Yeah, but there's the thing is with our course, you could also go more into technical sales and stuff.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
course was basically the most
Of
versatile.
presenting new products.
Yeah, and there were people at our class that were very good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could still
I
have the
remember Dinant
classes.
being very naturally good at that.
You can be naturally
stuff.
good at it, but just because one person is, doesn't mean that the rest of the class doesn't have to follow a course like it.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't really make much sense to not teach it.
Yeah. Somehow they think, just teach them the technical stuff. And sure, it can help. Like it does often teach.
Well, it is literally the most important. It's what your job is.
Yeah, it teaches you the job. But I would have liked to, actually get a couple of classes in, how to apply, like how to apply for a job. you know, what the process looks like and how to actually look for one. Because if you look at some websites like Indeed, LinkedIn, it sort of becomes this place where you just look at the requirements. Because to me, you put in the requirements what you actually want, and then you just see that what you have doesn't really align with anything. Because I have actually seen a application for an entry level job with 5 years of experience. Entry level, you know, the I don't
I
know
mean, but
anything, I'm just
the thing
starting
is, you should
level.
also just kind of ignore that and just go for it. It is just
Yes, but why have the
it is just kind of
requirements in the
trying,
first place? And also
because
another thing,
not everybody knows how to set
which
proper
should be
requirements, I
which
guess.
should be taught to each company, is how to respond to an email. Because apparently they didn't fucking learn that. Considering I've had multiple companies just like, I send out a message saying, "Hey, I'm interested in this application. Can we?"
They have to just be more forward. Go get what you need.
Yeah, it like, you come into the realm where it's basically just call them, and calling is
Yes,
quicker. It's always going to be quicker. But
it's
if you send,
sometimes just also the only way you'll get a response.
yes, but what the fuck are emails for then? If nobody responds to them, why even have it in the first place?
For the fun of it.
Basically,
Yeah.
like, company emails are just like, if you're in the Netherlands and you want to contact a company, as soon as the email starts with the word info, just don't bother with that email address. Just call at that point. Because
I don't
speaking
know.
from experience,
To me, companies. Well, then I was working at a company, but to me, companies always responded. So sometimes it took like 2 days, but that's fine.
yeah, I've had companies take days, like months to respond. Even with phone calls, by the way, I've had a recruitment agency literally call me while I was in London after a month of after being there, saying that they finally found something. At that point, I went to a different recruitment agency that actually helped me. That actually was like, all right, what are you looking for? Well, we might not have that entirely, but we do have some stuff. Let's see if we can, let's just go to the company anyway, see if you like it. At that point, I was just getting slightly more desperate, so I was like, sure, let's just go. And so I found a job. I had that job for a couple weeks already. I went on vacation because that was planned before I got the job. So yeah, otherwise you wouldn't plan a vacation when you just start a job. But I did indicate that when I started saying like, hey, I have this planned already, and they basically said, yeah, we'll get there when it's a couple of weeks away. So then those couple of weeks away came, or the week where I was like, all right, how do I have to do anything for it? Do I have to ask for any leave or anything? And I did, and I didn't really have to. Just had to indicate that I was gonna be gone, and after that, it was pretty much done. And after a week, I got back. I did miss a meeting though, in the form of you know company behaviors and everything, but that they already had the files for it, like what they're going to be presenting or have a meeting about. They already had that, so I simply just looked at that. problem solved. But it's just a slight bit, yeah. If you're gonna be a company and you're getting an email, even with internships, right? With me getting that internship, but taking forever because I also didn't call, which was which was on my part. It
Well,
doesn't really
you know,
help when you get
at least we
anxious.
got that far. That was on your part now. We have learned that bit. That's
Well, it
good.
was
Yes.
partially on my part, partially on company's part, because if I send a message to like 10 companies and none of them respond to an
Then
email,
just call them. Like I
then I'm
said,
back to the same point. What the fuck was that email address for then? If it's just to ignore.
it's to show that you tried contacting them and that you're showing initiative, I guess.
Yeah, I'm showing initiative in asking for a job and then the company completely ignoring me or asking for an internship. And, that's sort of. It's frustrating when companies have that. Where they just decide to flat out ignore emails and everything. And then I have to deal with a phone call. Like when I actually called the company that my internship at, they actually said, "Oh well, this usually doesn't happen," which is the most lame ass excuse of all time. Saying, "Oh, it usually doesn't. We usually respond. Your email, your email must have slipped through must have slipped through the system and everything. Like you're getting those responses because they suddenly think, oh shit, this guy actually calls." Which is bad on its own, that it just doesn't really. And also, companies just usually go through a recruitment agency these days, unless you're already in contact with the company through an internship or anything. If if you just have like no contacts or anything, getting a job just basically means go to a recruitment agency and, oh look, now you're stuck with filling your hours in two spots, like in two places for a year. Isn't it lovely? Because I'm currently stuck doing that for a while. Because that's just how it works apparently these days. Like I have to
Yes.
actually put in my hours with the like for the recruitment agency, and then I have to fill in the hours for the actual company so that they know what project I've been working on, which is the entire, you know, important thing. Because companies usually, if you have a job to do, they go and bill the client for an amount of hours. And I can't just say, oh yeah, I worked 8 hours. Then they're gonna ask like, yeah, on what project? So that's why you have to do that. But also, our company sent out an email today regarding AI, which I kind of liked actually. Like they basically came out with an AI policy that we now have to follow.
I mean, that sounds fair, given the current day and age.
And it basically said, we only use Copilot.
I've never used Copilot before. Is it any good?
I don't know.
What
I
is
don't use
Copilot?
AI. Copilot is basically Microsoft's AI.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That doesn't sound very great of a policy.
Well, it did clearly indicate that we will not use that the use of ChatGPT and such are prohibited because of the safety concerns,
What
which
safety
I
concern? You mean
fully understand.
what safety concern is there with ChatGPT then?
Um, what if you suddenly what if you plug all your sensitive data into ChatGPT, which people do actually do?
I mean, that's not really a ChatGPT issue. That's just a user issue at that
Yeah, but
point.
that's why our company has said we're not using ChatGPT anymore because of that.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, I don't understand the use of AI at all because it has shown to actively make people dumber. Because instead of thinking,
Well,
you're
it has shown to make inactive people dumber.
yeah, but
People who don't want to do a harder work.
what it basically is just instead of people actually having the critical thinking skills like, what do I do now? Or how will this work? Instead of looking it up themselves, they basically ask ChatGPT. And ChatGPT gives them an answer and then they go with that without doing proper research. Same goes for AI overview on Google, which sucks. Like if you ask it anything advanced, 9 times out of 10 it will be wrong. I am speaking from experience here. 9 times out of 10 it will just straight up be wrong information. Because it grabs like the first couple of sentences and rolls with it without. It does cite the source. That's
Most
a
of the time.
most of the time, yeah. That is a good thing. However, it's just a tad bit annoying for someone that just tries to look something up. They actually look up the thing in like, you scroll down past the AI overview, and now you have the entire. You just have the thing of, oh, I've read the article. The article says something entirely different. Ah, what now? That's the problem. People don't really do research
Actually,
anymore.
I also have some news from my job actually.
What?
My new computer came in today. And it's
Ah,
very funny because it was supposed to come in yesterday, but then because like Black Friday and the holidays and everything, like, they're busy. So then it was gonna come in tomorrow, and then it arrived today.
huh.
So that's nice.
So it went from
So
yesterday to tomorrow to
yes,
today.
yes. But uh, so I plug it in, and I turn it on,
Yeah.
and holy shit, the noise!
Let me guess. Sound was all the way up.
It was no. That's not what I mean. I mean the fans.
Oh,
Made
fan speed was
so
just set
much
to
noise.
max.
No. No, there was I don't know what material it is, but like protective stuff on the inside for the transport. Which the box did have a sticker on it saying that. We just didn't notice it, so we had to open it up and pull it out.
You didn't think.
I
Will you
don't
buy.
know. We neither of us ever bought like a pre-built PC like that.
Yeah, you've only bought PC parts.
Yes. But anyway, uh, so there's that. So then I plug it in, and there's something kind of weird. There is one HDMI port,
Yeah,
one display port,
yeah.
and then four, and these are from the actual graphics card, little ports that we'd never seen before. So we were like, well, you know what? For now, we'll just use the
Mini
motherboard thing.
HDMI.
No. So we plug in the HDMI. Yeah, no, it didn't work. It didn't do the monitor thing, so I don't know why it didn't
Because
work.
your
I don't know why it
CPU
has those ports, but it didn't work.
probably doesn't have integrated graphics.
Actually, it does.
Huh, that's weird.
But
And it should
anyway, so we
work.
find out that what they are on the graphics card, and it probably again, it probably did say this in the shop, but we just didn't look at that because we didn't expect it. They are mini display ports.
So you have to buy a cable.
So now we need to buy mini displays. So hopefully those will arrive tomorrow, and then we can actually set up the PC.
Let's actually see what it looks, what a mini display. Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, but there's four of those.
What kind of graphics card has? Eh?
The one that is made to work with SolidWorks, because SolidWorks doesn't work with every single graphics card.
Ah,
For whatever reason.
It only works with a couple specific ones, and this is one of them.
solid doesn't work.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
I mean, it does work with all NVIDIA stuff, right? I think.
No, it works
No?
specifically with NVIDIA ADA series.
But I haven't had problems with it with my laptop at all.
No. It's a weird situation.
And I'm running a not an ADA series, I don't think. No, G4
Probably
RTX.
not. They are actually surprisingly hard to find. Like, we had to buy a custom PC to get one with that in it. Because otherwise the RAM would be terrible.
Right.
Yeah, also, another fun story for my job. Someone ordered a PC a PC and a monitor for a job site.
A PC to go. Can
Well-
I have one order of PC to go, please?
Well, it was basically a PC and monitor for on location so that they could monitor the system there. My colleague sent, a link with, this screenshot and written specs added to it. And IT still sent him a PC with the wrong specs because the link didn't go to those specific specs, and IT just clicked on the link, clicked order, didn't look at the rest. It just sent.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the monitor had a bit of a scuffed display port that didn't fully work.
I see.
And this was on a Friday, which, it's usual for a Friday, I guess. Nothing works. Everything sucks. But you get used to that eventually. Let's see what else we have.
I think it's about time we also wrap it up.
Yeah, but I first want to see if there is stuff. Not really. Oh, apparently the decision to remove an entire town or city has been.
Oh, you mean because of the factories or whatever?
Moerdijk. Yeah, because of industrial area expanding, they wanted to basically get rid of an
Yeah.
entire town. That decision has been moved half a year.
Okay.
which
So are these people just gonna live with like liquid cancer in their water system, or are the factories also slowing down?
I don't know, but apparently, but they're gonna live basically in purgatory for the next 6 months because they know their town will probably disappear, and they're gonna have to move. Like 1,300 people have to move, but they don't know the decision officially yet because yeah,
It's government, I guess.
yeah, some train stuff. Oh yeah, apparently the Georgian authorities, Georgia in Europe, I think, not in the U.S.
Wait, we have Europe, Georgia.
We have Georgia in Europe as a country, and there's a Georgia as a state in the United States. But I'm talking about the European country here. Apparently, they've been using some chemicals against protesters that, the recipe originates from World War One. You know, because of like it was camite and was used by the French, but it has been used since the 30s because of the concern for long-term effects on people's health. Oh, apparently they're using it in the water, like in a water cannon. That is just dangerous because all those chemicals seep into the ground. If you use groundwater, that means you're going to be drinking those chemicals, even though you might not have been protesting. So that just seems like a health disaster waiting to happen. But yeah, I don't really see any. Oh yeah, on some sadder news. Apparently, on Sunday, a 9-year-old French boy shot himself.
Ew.
They were. The kid was with his friend, was with his parents, and those parents were helping a friend move. So, child was unattended. And it found a loaded revolver, you know, because you just keep a loaded revolver around the house, of course, as you do. And the child just,
Wait,
you
you,
know,
you said this was France, right?
yeah,
Since when are they allowed to have guns?
I don't know. It's the
I don't
French. What do you
think
expect from them?
being allowed or not has ever stopped a country. Like, there's plenty of guns in the Netherlands, Joran.
And according to a newspaper, the gun was stored in a separate room.
I mean, it better.
Yeah, but, you know, don't keep it loaded. Like, the best thing you can do is maybe keep some bullets nearby in another locked, like, box or something. So that you may find the gun, but then there is no bullet for the gun, so it's useless. And also, a 9-year-old kid might find it, might play around with it, see it as a toy, as children often do. Because this kid just pulled the trigger, and yeah. It's sort of concerning. Also, I did find a funny image at some point about the Pope. You know, he went to. I'm not sure how to. Does it translate or is it just the same? Let me actually look up. Lebanon. The Pope went to Lebanon, and there was an image of the Pope just holding a bat in a plane,
Okay.
and
Like
it
a
just
baseball.
yeah, a baseball bat, and it just looked somewhat threatening. It's
Okay.
it was a funny image. I'm gonna put it on the thumbnail. Don't worry. But it just
Completely unrelated to everything we've talked about today. Just the Pope.
Pope with baseball bat. It looked like he was threatening someone basically. It looked funny.
Put the iOS versus Android debate in there as well.
Yeah. Um, a couple was caught cheating at a casino with hidden cameras.
I mean, that's
What else?
definitely a couple activity, I guess.
Also, the I think the trial for Luigi Mangione has started.
Ooh,
The guy that shot the United Healthcare CEO, or potentially, because
allegedly.
allegedly, yeah. So that trial has started, and I'm curious what will, you know, be the result. Will he be trialed and sentenced to either life
Well, he will be
or
trialed. That's already for certain.
yeah, but will he be sentenced to some? Will he get a sentence?
Will he be found guilty? Is the question.
Yes, that is a somewhat uncertain thing, but we will find out. Now, let's see if we have anything else for the news. And not really. Wait,
I should go to bed.
apparently, some Austrian nuns have refused to leave. Hold on, I need to use translate again. Why is language failing me now?
That's really surprising.
Their monastery. They refuse to leave their monastery. Why? I'm currently looking at it.
I mean, isn't that the whole point of a nun?
Yeah. Well, apparently, they went to back to their old monastery against the will of their leader, and they refuse to leave. It's they're 88, 86, and 82 years old.
Okay.
That's prime protesting age right there.
Well, you're not getting those nuns out of there, which is good. Let's see what else. Yeah. Also, YouTube is doing weird ads again.
I don't think they have ever stopped.
Well, this time, I don't know why, they started putting ads up for a sperm bank.
Okay.
That's
Is that
honestly
is that
that's honestly
weird?
less bad than the porn ads, so I don't fully see
And
the
I think
problem
they're
there.
using AI for it.
Right.
Speaking of AI, Valve or Steam, actually, this is
Well, you
Steam.
need a deep slate or something, Jim.
Steam is actually
If you found
putting
my
a
hole.
I think I found your hole.
Steam is actually putting a tag on their on games that are made with AI. Like, you have to say this game is made with AI.
That's
Okay.
fair.
And AAA studios are not happy.
Hmm.
Not a big surprise. Absolutely funny. Because
Not a big surprise, but kind of unfortunate.
well, it's just like, you want to know if a game is made with or without AI.
Yeah. No,
Because
it's completely fair.
and big studios are mad at them because are mad at Steam for that, because Naughty can't get away with basically scamming their customers by letting them pay $80 for a game that is made with AI, so you don't have to hire as many people and voice actors as you would normally do. Which means you save money, but you keep the price. You still raise pricing because more money. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Also, next week I will have the final result of the Formula One season because the race is this weekend. So that's gonna be one thing to talk about next week. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much me running out of news as well. Does anybody have anything else to talk about?
Don't think so.
No, I'm gonna go to bed.
Then I guess that leaves us with.
Jim is going to bed. Breaking news.
I guess it leaves us with one thing left to say.
Good night.
We're not experts.
But we were here.